There is no bad real estate. There's just bad deals. Hey, Tom here, FlipAnythingUSA. So today we're going to talk about a video by the Economic Ninja. This is the reason for the banking crisis. And a lot of my viewers also watch the Economic Ninja and vice versa. I'd like to introduce myself to you new Economic Ninja folks that might happen to be in here. I've been in real estate for 42 years, been a very successful investor. I have tens of millions of dollars in property. I own commercial, industrial, residential, large acreage, lots. I've been buying and selling property since I was 19 years old. And to me, there's not a better investment in the world. And it doesn't matter. I've been through all kinds of ups and downs. I started in 1981. Which was a crisis in itself then. I have something that I've encountered since then in the late 80s, which is a stair-step recession, which I came out profitably very well. So I have a mentorship that my students are all still doing quite well. We're still buying property. We're going to get into Ninja here has to say, and I will make my comments based on my years of experience. And glad to have you here, and please comment.
It's the best thing I ever did.
Well, let's get this rolling.
In 2008, most people did not understand why the markets were suddenly tanking. They had no comprehension that over the prior few years, something was brewing in the market that was so big, but unbeknownst to them, it was going to change their lives and the lives of everybody around them. And that was mortgage-backed securities. Most people had no idea what they were and why they were such a big deal, but all of a sudden their lives were changed forever. Well, today in 2023, we have something even bigger than that, and that is the CMBS market. It stands for Commercial Mortgage-Backed Securities. And you're gonna find out going into the end of 2023 and in 2024, how these securities are going to absolutely shape the way you live your life and how much money you have in your possession. I know it sounds crazy, but it's true. For the past 2 years, I've been warning people about this industry and how big and how bad it's going to be when it all comes crashing down. This is gonna be all over the newspaper headlines. So what we're gonna be talking today is CMBS. Hey everybody, Economic Ninja here.
To Ninja's credit, he really anti-fake guru. I am the same way. 95% of the people out there that are selling information and expertise on real estate have no experience, or next to none. Or maybe they've only been doing it 10 years, which is like no experience compared to me. And so they make big predictions, but they're basing it on a knowledge base that is tiny, very, very tiny. What leads always to this stuff is high interest rate. High interest rates, is what's killing everything. It's raising, when the interest rates go up, the property values go down. Investors like me that sometimes borrow, 3/4 of the money to purchase buildings of all types. We make money on the delta between what we, pay interest on and the amount that we make on the cap rate. And that has become significantly shrunk to almost nothing right now. And one of the things that's complicating that is that there is money coming in from other states where people are coming into like non-tax states, non-state tax. They come in and they buy up real estate, and they're simply like evacuating California or New York, and they're bringing their money in. A lot of people are just coming into the country. We all know that immigration's way up. Not everybody that's coming in is poor, but they're coming in. They make it very difficult on investors, but there's still plenty of money to be made. You just have to be careful. So for the last 3 or 4 years, I've been telling people, time to get rid of your property. If you want to sell it, get rid of it now. The interest rates are as low as they're going to be, and then you're racing the rates going up. And pretty much all my students have survived it. I refied all my properties, but now all this stuff has a limited time. In other words, even if you refied all your property in 2021, 2022, you still have set the timer, because a lot of these loans, commercial-backed loans, commercial, industrial, anything non-residential basically, kind of falls into this category where investors buy, not homeowners, okay? And so what happens is those loans get called every 5 years. they get called to be reevaluated and adjusted back up. So like Ben Malla, great guy. He's been in my mentorship, talked to my students too. I really like the guy, high respect for Ben, but he screwed up. He did not refi his properties, and now he's paying the price. He's got about $150 million in loans that adjusted up. And now it's cost him about $6.5 to $7 million a year more in interest. It's a killer, $500,000-$600,000 more per month. The big guys make the bigger mistakes. Even Blackstone and others are having big issues.
Street, real estate sector is already getting hit hard, and it is going to get decimated.
Let me give you first off just an idea of what a CMBS is. Commercial mortgage-backed securities are a type of mortgage-backed security backed by commercial multifamily mortgages. Rather than residential real estate, CMBS tend to be more complex and volatile than residential mortgage-backed securities due to the unique nature of the underlying property assets. So these are both multifamily properties, think big apartment complexes, and also think of your local home do-it center or your local grocery store.
Just think of anything that's non-residential.
Or even the strip mall down the street. Point being is that multifamily market and commercial real estate right now are taking a massive blow due to the rising interest rate environment that we've found ourselves in since the Federal Reserve decided to start tightening down on inflation. The point is that every so many years, investors that have debt tied to these assets need to refinance them, and they are finding themselves absolutely unable to refinance them at these much higher rates. Also, on top of that, because of the global pandemic, people stopped paying rent. Literally, businesses completely went empty. They all separated. They are teleworking.
So listen, I actually have a lot of commercial tenancy, and we had massage parlors, hair salons, and I have all these types of tenants. Anything that had people in close proximity, they got hurt. But in all honesty, I had nobody go out of business, none of them, and they all survived. Many of them simply turned out the lights. People went and got their haircuts. People got massage. People did everything. People went about their business. Not everybody bought into the pandemic. And people are going to do what they're going to do to make a living. And it turns out most of them were smart to do so. The commercial buildings, you get a loan. When you get a commercial loan, generally the banks are going to give you a 5-year term before they readjust. And so people that did not take action in 2021, 2022 even, are getting burned now. They as soon as rates started going up, they really should have started paying attention. I did. I started in rates. When I started in real estate, my first loans were like 10% interest, 10% interest loans. Not even from the bank. The banks were probably 12, 15. I had a lot of commercial properties that were actually owner financed back then. And that's the other thing I want to talk about is there's an opportunity now for, well, some of the most competitive money out there right now is private lending. Private lending, there's people that if you have a decent asset, they can loan you money at 6%. That beats the banks by about 1.5% right now. So we'll keep going on this.
The point is those buildings are literally sitting completely unused, and so many companies are deciding to shed the one cost that they don't need right now, and that is their empty office building.
And that is true, but I can honestly tell you that I've had I have office buildings too. This is one of my office buildings right here. It's a big school. It actually has expanded. And I have one of my buildings. This has got an accounting firm in it, and it's expanded. I have a number of businesses that actually expanded their footprint that are offices. I have a number of engineers, structural engineers, people that work for me. They went back home, just like he said, but guess what? They came back because when you have a collaboration of engineers, it's not the same being apart. When they're back in the same room, they can help. And this goes for double E, electronic engineers, structural engineers, all engineers. When they can meet in a room and talk face to face, there's different experience in the room that they need to draw from because each of them have a different clientele. And so it's not exactly It's not 100% by any means. But there's people that work at Indeed, and even my daughter is an accountant, and she gets to work from home, but she has the option of coming into the office. The pandemic, how it really, really damaged the hotel business. And actually, Ben Mala, when I talked to him, actually had told me this. Ben actually has a number of properties that are on the beach or near the beach, and then he's also got properties in the city, and I'm talking about hotels. The properties that got hurt the worst for him were the ones like one that he had in downtown Tampa. It's surrounded by the business district. Well, all those offices were empty, and hotels, huge source of their income, biggest source of their income is business travelers, people coming in to do training for the various offices around. So those got hurt significantly. If you go into LoopNet, you see there's hotels discharged and sold off for pennies on the dollar. 10X has been auctioning them off for the last 2.5 years. But there is a silver lining almost every time. For every time there is a big problem one way or another, it just opens up an opportunity. I can show you, here's an apartment building. I'll put this up. This is an apartment building. This is in the crash of like 88, 87. This property went through what I call a stair-step recession. This property had gone back to the bank, sold again after it went back to the bank for $1.2 million, went back to the bank again, sold for $750,000 as I remember. People who bought it went belly up again, went back to the bank, and sold for $550,000, went back to the bank, and that's when I bought it. I bought it for $340,000. I bought it right, and I made almost $2 million on those two properties right there. There's an opportunity with every crash. And you can always buy property year-round, doesn't matter. If you're a retail investor, no. If you're a speculator, no, you're screwed. But if you buy the way my group does, and my group, by the way, if you don't know my group, let me just show you. You should certainly come take a look. FlipAnythingUSA. I have the best and brightest students. Folks like this guy here, he's made $1.4 million. He just bought 3 houses. He's up to $1.2 million. And some of these purchases are recently. There is no bad real estate. There's just bad deals. Don't make a bad deal, and you can make a fortune in real estate. So let's get back to the ninja here, and we'll keep watching.
Shed the one cost that they don't need right now, and that is their empty office building. So what's another downside to the CMBS market? It has less autonomy in the operation of the property and limited flexibility to deviate from the terms of the loan documents. There's a lot of difficulty in releasing collateral, and it's expensive to exit.
Yeah, so here's the deal. When you have a loan, and this is what is, look, even I'm going to be in trouble at some point. The stuff that I was smart to refinance, 2 years ago, year and a half ago, that just set the timer. I still have 5 years from that. So if I did a year and a half ago, I got 3.5 years. Well, in 3.5 years, I expect the rates are going to be the same or even as high, a little higher than they are right now. I expect them to go up. I don't know that they're going to go down for a long time. Listen, you'll see things just like interest rates in 2009. They dropped like a rock. I just borrowed $3 million, and within a few months, my interest on that went from, it dropped 3%. So it saved me $90,000 a year, almost immediately. From the time I got that loan, my payments were drastically dropped, just on that one loan. I have a lot of property. But there is an upside. You just have to look for it and keep your eyes open. And that's what you can do. Hey, by the way, if you just got here, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. You'll learn a lot here on my channel. If real estate is your game, then you found the right place. Let's keep watching.
I've seen large conglomerates like Blackstone completely walk away from certain properties and give them back to the bank that loaned it at sometimes as much as 50% haircuts to the original agreement. I believe that you are going to see this pick up in 2023.
And beware of the funds, because there's people that simply that point to Blackstone as something that they should do. They think that because they're bigger that they know something that you don't know. Ryan Pineda created a fund and then quickly changed gears from, I think he got high on the idea of going after, of creating a fund to buy apartments, which I think he regrets the stuff that he bought.
And then I started funds that bought big apartment buildings, now totaling over 500 years. But despite all that, I still think that up to this point, I've been doing it wrong.
And then he's quickly saying, oh, we need to buy houses. And then while he's talking about buying houses, like I said, Blackstone is saying, basically, we made a mistake, and they're dumping their assets. So be careful. If somebody hasn't been in the business for a very long time and has a track record, if a person is going to sell you their expertise or put a fund together, make sure that they have profits, that proven profits. Number one, testimonials to testify that they have made money using this person's advice or investing with them. That's just simple, just common sense. And a lot of people don't have that.
You are going to see more and more pension funds try and pull out of commercial REITs, commercial real estate investment trusts. As of right now, one of the largest real estate investment trusts has been sealed off from allowing pension funds to pull its money out. This is getting bigger and bigger, and I think that you need to start to wake up to see, even though you don't own commercial real estate, how it's going to affect your wealth going forward, because what most people don't realize is the assets that nobody wants to touch in Silicon Valley Bank and First Republic Bank are commercial real estate investment trusts. Those REITs or those CMBS, whichever way you want to put it, are completely toxic assets. And even though you don't own them.
So they are, I would agree with him. What's going to happen is, and it's already happening, we have people that have big projects underway that are coming up for refinancing, just in the construction stage for a second and third phase. And the developers are just walking, because they know that by the time they get done, there's going to be zero. There's hardly any meat on the bone as it is, and finishing it is just going to make matters worse. You got a building that maybe when you started, maybe had a 4% delta you're making on between what you borrowed for and the cap rate, and now that's completely gone. You have no profit. And so not that the banks. Once a bank gives you a 5-year loan, they're going to renew the loan. But the bottom line is it's going to be at a higher rate. And as a result, you're going to, the bottom line is you're going to fail. You will fail. And I thrive on that stuff for the reasons I showed you with that apartment building. When people fail, other people got to come over there and pick it up, make some money. And hopefully, if everything does crash as it is, it'll be like in the late 80s, where everybody in the USA can get a piece of it, that it isn't just reserved for the big institutional investors. Let's keep watching.
You are going to be affected by them, because these banks are going to continue to collapse. And it's important to start to watch people that were warning ahead of time rather than just following the news.
Yeah, so keep in mind, when you're going to, look, I have some small banks that I deal with, that are under $1 billion in cash, but they're not heavy into commercial loans, and they can survive it. And you have to understand, the banks can make money just sitting there with the depositors' money. That money, they can just simply, they can get a return. They can get a return on that through the government that is just a little bit less than what they would get if they loan it out. So they have like a no-risk situation, and a lot of people don't understand that, but let's keep watching.
Very few people on the news or on YouTube or different social media platforms were invested in the real estate market prior to the Great Recession. And the sad thing is the Great Recession right now, what we're going through right now, is what we were going through in 2007. And we're about to hit that famous 2008 mark, where mass layoffs are happening and where people are seeing all over the news stock markets plunging into the red around the globe.
So here's the deal. The driving forces for these problems from 2008 and the problems that we have now, completely different set of problems. What happened here, there was so much cheap money like depositors' money's in the bank. The banks didn't see it coming. What they did is they made long-term loans, and they committed the depositors' money to long-term low interest, okay? So that's the first part that's the failure, because the depositors want their money back out. This is like, it's going to happen in steps. The depositors want their money back out. They can't get it because the money's already been promised. So they can't pull it out. They're stuck. They can't pull it out. Next step, the loans come due. The loans come due, and they have to refi, or they have to, just their loan has to adjust up. Well, the bank has to kind of thread the needle there, because maybe they'll make some concessions that they wouldn't normally make to help these guys survive, or they won't make any, and then they're going to have bad loans on their books, which they don't want as well. But either way, it's good because it destroys the values of the pricing. I say good. I have a different take on this. I'm a buyer of real estate. I'm a buyer. I'm an investor, an active investor, and so are my students. So we're, with the problems that those are having, everything else that's on the market, whether it's completely paid for or just very little is owed on it, those assets, even though they're penciling and doing well, they still are subject to the valuation as compared to everything else. In other words, the values are going down because the interest rate is so high for anybody else to buy their property. It has to give somewhere. And so the value goes down. You can't just raise everybody's rent. Your taxes go up along with that based on the appraised value of what you purchased on. Let's keep watching. Good stuff, Ninja.
And seeing all of a sudden the values of their homes dropping really, really fast. I hope you start to take more of an active role in being aware of what's going on in these markets and how serious these days are. These are not the days to rack up debt. These are the days to get out of debt, to get into inflation hedges like gold and silver.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with him there. Listen, gold historically has been a terrible investment. It hasn't gone up. I mean, people go there when it's desperate. People hype gold. Gold doesn't even come close to the return you make on a real estate investing if you know how to invest in real estate. This is where I would draw a huge disagreement with Ninja on gold.
Possibly a stable current cryptos like Bitcoin, but even those are very, very susceptible to the derivatives implosion that happens when the stock market starts to sell off. I think the biggest thing people can do right now is to become aware, pay off debt, and sit and start to build up a cash position.
I would tell you, be careful not to pay off debt, because this is something, cash is king. When you have cash, you can take advantage of opportunities that are before you. If you throw all your cash out there just to pay down your loans, you want to have cash. Cash allows you to take advantage of opportunities where you can buy undervalued assets and then turn them and make really sizable chunks of money. But if you just simply pay off all your debt and now you're sitting there without any cash, you don't got any seed capital. You don't have anything to play with. But I'm an active investor, and so are my students. So a little bit, I'm not a retail investor. I'm not a speculator. I've never bought gold, any of that ever. I just look at the numbers on it historically, and you can just do the research yourself. It doesn't go up in value or next to nothing.
To be able to take advantage of this downturn, because whether you like it or not, there's no stopping this downturn. I hope you got something out of this. The Economic Ninja is out.
All right. Well, I appreciate his take. What I would tell you is, when it comes to property, when it comes to investing in real estate, again, I'll just repeat it. There is no bad real estate. There's just bad deals. And I'm going to take you just for a visit again here real quick. Hey, be sure to check this out. Get my book, Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate. It's been a bestseller on Amazon, Audible, and Kindle. If it isn't the best book in real estate you ever read, I'll buy it back from you. Okay, how's that? I basically explain for a lot of people how they should begin. And then if you want to take it to another level, get in my mentorship. But this book literally could be worth $1 million to you. I've been doing this for a very long time. And the difference between me, Ninja, rightfully so, should be down on all the fake gurus that are out there. I'm actually a mentor. So when somebody gets in my mentorship, they're not just getting a course and being thrown to students to guide them. You actually have contact with me. It's if you've ever had customer service on software or anything else where you're jammed up and you don't know what to do and you're frustrated, and then you $100 phone call and somebody says, oh, just do this, and then all of a sudden, boom, you're back online, everything's working great. Well, that's what it is when you get to talk to somebody like me, a seasoned investor that's been doing this stuff for 40 years. It just takes me, a quick text to me, I look at it, oh yeah, do this. Sometimes you need to be told you're doing the right thing. Other times you need to be told, oh, don't do that, you're doing the wrong thing. And that's what I bring to the table, is that expertise and guidance that you need. Just need a little guidance. You need a little guidance, goes a very long way. Urge you to look at the testimonials on my website at FlipAnythingUSA. You can see the results. The results are very, very significant. So please take a look, and I'll leave you with this. And please, again, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. For whatever reason, the Ninja and I have a lot of the same like-minded followers. They enjoy us both for different reasons, I guess. But those of you that have an interest in real estate, please, come on. You want to learn how to make millions of dollars in real estate? I've made tens of millions over my lifetime, and I'm showing people how to do it. Get in my free webinar. I have it every Thursday, 7 p.m. Central. Go to the link below, FlipAnythingUSA.com/webinar. Sign up for it. You can talk to me face-to-face if you want. Don't waste any time. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. You don't want to miss my channel. I've been doing it for years.